recording. Start streaming. Start recording on Zencastr. Welcome, everybody! This is Wise Papa Smurf here for episode 223 of the Lola Podcast. Joining me, I have Astros BK going by I'm Bad at LOL in the Zencastr. How are you doing, you sad motherfucker?
I hit plat, so I'm doing pretty good.
Are you? Are you really doing pretty good?
No, you don't love me.
And also joining me today, we have Danger Penguin, whose real name I actually don't know. Also, I'm not Blake. It's me. It's Ponderous. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's great to be here.
So here's a thing that happened. I was watching Scott Pilgrim versus the World, you know, as one does by themselves on a Friday night, you know. That's just a typical thing that you do. I'm watching this. I'm fawning over Michael Cera and both his girlfriends in the movie, who are all insanely hot. And then I get a message from Blake, and he's like, Michael, you need to do the podcast, and I bought you that new microphone, and you haven't even used it yet, so I need to blackmail you into using it so I don't have to do the podcast because I have a wife and children. And I'm like, Blake, I'm watching a movie here. This is important stuff. And he's like, no, fuck you. I mean, I never wanted to tell anyone, but I've always been jealous of your ability to host the podcast. And the only reason I'm on every week is because I can't give you the reins. But this week, it's imperative to my marriage, which is falling apart, that you take over the show and do this for me, Michael. I bought you a microphone, please. It's like, okay. And I accepted the responsibility thrust upon me. And with no planning, with no thought put into this whatsoever, I'm going to do what League of Legends podcasts with no content to offer have done since the beginning of time. And that is talk about motherfucking patch notes. You guys ready for this?
Oh, I'm excited for these patch notes.
I feel like that's a good enough episode. I think we can just wrap it up there.
That's something. Why do I even have this? I'm okay, it's an audio medium, but I'm holding my headset microphone in disdain.
Did you change your OBS settings?
He pulled it off with ruggedness. It was really
no, my OBS settings are good. My OBS settings are fine. Yeah. Okay. No, we're good. Don't scare me like that, Astros.
Just trying to check, you know?
Yeah, no, I will put this back in because I'm paranoid. So if you guys heard nothing for the last 30 seconds, then blame me for being a dumbass, but I'm pretty sure you heard all that. Anyways, I have the patch notes pulled up. Patch 9.3 notes. You guys got them pulled up? You fucking...
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. We're well prepared for this episode. None of us were, like, watching movies on our own and got pulled in and
waylaid
blackmail.
Textually by an older man in his 30s who needed me to do him a favor.
Luckily for him, we're all over 18, so...
Now we are. I wasn't when I started on this podcast. Yikes.
I was.
All right. Patch 9.3 notes by Ether.
Oh, we don't have to read him. It's good. You just go to the first person.
Welcome to 9.3, the patch that's like milk because we're alleviating a lot of spice. I'm not going to read the rest of this because that first line alone was awful. Aatrox. He's alphabetically the first thing in line. Aatrox. You know, he's probably going to be the alphabetically first champion for pretty much the rest of time. Yeah.
He's Aatrox. Of course.
Unless they make, like... I'm trying to think of another... I can't think of another name. Anyways, health regen increase.
Very clever.
Thanks, fucker. Health regen increase. Aatrox no longer heals off damage to non-champions. Have you guys noticed that every time they nerf these dumbass sustain champions, it's always by nerfing their sustainability on non-champion targets? It's almost like it's a shitty mechanic that is never fucking balanced in this dumbass game. Super weird. E no longer stores charges, but cools down faster than it previously charged. Okay, so health regen is up from 5 to 8. Health regen growth is up from 0.25 to 0.75. And then his healing versus non-champions, he no longer gets it, and his E that change doesn't really matter, I don't think.
No, I think it'll be big, because now you can't EQ to give yourself a double setup. You can only, so you have to hit your first Q, then to EQ to set up your second one, and then you have to, like, flash for your third Q. He's not going to hit his three Qs anymore.
I don't know why
I
that was
think-
ever on a like charge system. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's not the type of ability to be on a charge system. It's super weird, but I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, they said in Pro Play what they didn't like about it was that people would only use one charge, so they could always use another charge to run away. So they didn't like that aspect on Aatrox. So I think
that's the smart
I think
thing
it'll
to
hit
do.
them pretty hard. It'll be interesting to see how people adjust to it.
Yeah.
But I think it'll end up being a pretty significant nerf for him.
Hopefully, I just never see him again.
Okay, Akali. And, I mean, listen carefully, guys. This is something that nobody saw coming. First things
It's
first,
impossible to have seen it coming.
we're removing Akali's ability to hide from turrets, which has been the most contentious part of her update. Wow, so weird. Who could have ever... What kind of visionaries who study this game for 60 hours a week could have ever seen this change coming? I mean, I'm beyond shocked to see that they're removing her pure stealth against towers. That's like... I mean, I checked the date before we went online, which is actually, I think... correct me if I'm wrong, which counts as the bare minimum for preparedness. Like
Yeah,
checking
hey,
one thing that happened 6 months ago.
That's better than me and Astros, so you're a better podcaster already.
Don't bring me into this, all right?
Yeah, you didn't do
All right.
shit.
Astros looks like a
I was the only
like
one
a sad
here
puppy.
at 9. It's 10:30 now.
It's 9:30 where I'm at.
Oh, got you there.
So,
All right,
Time
so
zones.
You ever
we're
think of
only an hour and a
time
half
zones?
away for the podcast.
Bitch.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Love
so
you,
they
Dad.
got rid of her true stealth. This is one of those things. Like, it was Kog'Maw hitting 5.0 attack speed, and then they couldn't balance it, so they got rid of it. Kali getting true stealth under turrets. They can't balance it, so they remove it. We said this was going to happen when they first announced that she was going to have true stealth against turrets. We're like, that's unbalanceable. It is unbalanceable. Nobody is surprised. Anyone with a brain is not surprised, at least. And then they also removed the healing on her Q, and then they gave her a base health regen bump to compensate for her losing like two of the most impactful things on her kit. What'd you say her win rate's at, Astros? Like 33%? Is that actually what it's at?
33% is what it's at right now.
That's fucking
At least
hilarious.
according to their own stats, because that's what I think Medler said today.
You're
when
legit
on his-
inting if you pick this champion. Like,
Hey, I can int on many champions.
I mean, you can, but
She got a 45.7 win rate.
there's no way it's that high. It was lower than that
No
last
way.
patch.
Yeah, that thing's a lie.
Champion.gg.
Fuck champion.gg.
Okay,
I guarantee she's at 40% or lower. Like, there's just no way you can nerf a champion that was already at a low win rate. Unless everyone, like, just abandoned playing her because of this patch, and, like, only the people that have mastered her are still playing it. But there's no reason to play this champion. There was no reason to really play this champion before. Now there's, like, definitely no reason to play this champion. She's gutted. They're going to have to, like, buff her in the future. Like, she's not a functional champion at this point.
They said they will buff her, they just don't know how. Right now, that's literally what he said, is like, we're not going to buffer 9.4 because we need more data, because we don't know how to buffer correctly.
I mean,
They need to put
This
the
is just
healing
a
from her
great
Q-
design. That's what I know, is that it is a flawless rehashing of a character.
They're so
I'd like to shout out Certainty T for
dumb.
definitely nailing another one. You fucking crushed it, dude.
So
Your
bad.
shitty ass champion didn't last 6 months on live because it was so fucking stupid.
If they put the healing into the actual, like, Q passive, or, like, her passive in
Passive is
general,
what they need to bump up her passive. That thing's actually, like a clever,
they
like,
need to, if you put the healing
mechanic.
from the Q on that, it's not AoE healing, so it doesn't get extra benefits from your Ravenous Hunter stacks and stuff. And it means you actually have to play around your passive more.
It's wait, did they also increase the cooldown at the later ranks of Twilight Shroud? Those absolute fucking madmen, they did.
They did.
It's 2 seconds higher at later ranks. Holy shit, these guys are fucking amazing. I love this game. Camille, E no longer stuns minions or monsters. They're just nerfing jungle Camille because it's been dumb forever.
Yeah, it's a terrible spot.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're removing that stun. It was ridiculous in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, it's still going to stun on champions. It's just not going to
Yeah,
give you
and
the
that-
extra
and that's
health
fair.
against monsters. Which her jungle clearing was already the weakest part of Camille jungle, so I'm curious how this is going to
Well, you
impact her.
can't even fight for crabs anymore, because you
Yeah.
can't.
You can't kill it fast enough. Yeah, that's actually true. That's a big nerf when you think about the crabs, because it's going to slow her ability
That's
to
a good
clear
point,
it by a
Astros.
solid amount.
I have a lot of them when people listen to me.
It's tough to hear through all your sadness.
Anyways, next one, Cassiopeia. Q base damage decreased late, ratio increased. W damage reduced late, cost increased late. Cassiopeia is still too strong when fighting from extremely safe distances. So this is basically a nerf.
They got tired
and a
of
well-deserved
Q
one.
max Cass.
Yeah,
But-
she's huge in
Competitive.
the pro scene right
Yeah.
now. I mean, she's
She's
like
been-
basically pick ban.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a really good player, Cassiopeia is just insane. Like,
And she bullies out ADCs. They're picking her bot right now and just having her bully
hopefully
them
that
out.
changes with the crit crap we're gonna go over later. Actually, like, doing good things this patch. I love it. Irelia,
reinstall?
there's a large wall of text here I'm not super crazy about. Health, growth, and armor increased. Passive stack cap increased. Stacks grant attack speed instead of damage. Max stack. I feel like I'm fucking rapping. Max stack bonus grants damage instead of attack. Like, what the fuck? Max stack.
That's the whitest flow I've ever
Well,
heard.
no fucking shit, dumbass. Look at me. Max stack. And I was doing it. Fuck you. I was doing it off the cuff. Max stack bonus grants damage instead of attack speed. Q bonus minion damage increased. W reduces more physical damage but no longer reduces magic damage. What the fuck?
You could say goodbye to Aurelia mid, and I think everyone's thrilled for that. Basically, what they did is they increased her ability to duel for a longer period of time with her passive, and her shitty W, which is also a terrible design, now only prevents physical damage. So she's got to go top to utilize that, unless you're up against a Zed or a Yasuo mid. But basically, you're going to see her bullied out of mid. She's going to go back to top.
This isn't a nerf or buff, but they allegedly, and I mean, we've all been playing with Morgana, but they allegedly fixed her hitbox visuals on her E, so we'll see if it actually looks like you get stunned when you get stunned now. That would be fantastic.
Well, they fixed it already after they released the champion. That was one of her quick fixes after they released it, is they changed the hitbox on E.
Yeah, but it's
And
still
yet,
whack.
it still wasn't good. Yeah.
Oh, I know. They made it bigger.
Right? Because it makes
20
sense for
patches
this
later,
little
they're
fucking
finally
dot on the
fixing
screen to like stun like the width of Scion. It was fucking magical.
The only thing that I can see that might be interesting is she's going to have even faster wave clear, theoretically.
She
So
will.
you might not see people go Tiamat as frequently, because she's going to have some significantly increased... Although I guess you're not going to get any bonus damage, like, from your passive, so maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, they changed a bunch of shit. She shouldn't be going mid lane anymore. We'll see if that actually works. She might still stay as a counter pick to, like, I don't know, Zed or something. But we'll find out.
Yeah, it can be situational, but I think she'll mainly is being pushed towards top.
And that's all the changes for champions. So now
That's
we're
the
on
big
to
changes.
items.
There's some little ones down
Are there?
But those are the big ones.
Are they at the
Yeah.
bottom or
You get-
something?
You get simple buffs and nerfs down there for
what the f-
Lysandra, Scion, and Zyra.
Oh, well, I guess I'll go over those next. Lysandra, Q cost increased late. E damage decreased late. Okay, what if instead of doing this, and listen closely because words are about to flow like water out of my lips. What if we nerfed the fucking... Oh, Christ, I haven't played this game in so long. Aftershock on ranged champions. What if we just did that, and then
Hey,
now's
hey
the
guys.
thing? Yeah?
Guess who made this change?
Who?
Riot Jat made this change.
Riot Jat?
This is the first change he's made since he became a part
Pog
of the
fucking champ.
thingy.
Riot Jat Pog champ. Anyways, Q cost increased late. E damage decreased late. So, nerf.
In my opinion, this doesn't affect her at all. She's still pick ban and pro and very strong in solo
I mean,
queue.
you're untrained mind might see it that way, but her Ice Shard costs 8 more mana at max rank danger.
It's true. I'm just I can't read.
This is a fucking 0.3% win rate nerf at best. If
that's
that.
a crazy number. 8 mana. I mean,
probably,
she's basically gonna be
honestly,
starved.
probably
It's 8 mana at
increases
max
the win
rank.
rate,
Like, fuck.
When she's just walking around with blue the whole game anyway, so who
This
gives a
game
shit?
Sucks. Scion. Q damage decreased. W cooldown increased early. So
nice
nerf
try.
to his
He's
lane
still the
phase.
best tank.
Probably, yeah. I can't
What do you
imagine.
mean? He's still the best lethality tank. Fucking stupid champion.
And then Zyra plant damage decreased.
Well,
Slightly.
rip danger. Going back to gold.
Yeah, probably. There goes my Zyra. I'm just kidding. This is a perfectly fine.
It's barely a nerf.
I have no issues with it.
It's like it was like 9 damage at level 18.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? Anyways, all right. So let's go to items. They are actually fixing crit. I mean, again, only took them 6 months, but I guess we're back.
We found our way back to the normal.
Cloak of Agility back in the game. 800 gold, 20% crit chance.
Yasuo buff.
Welcome back. That is a Yasuo buff. Is I've never looked at the math. Is it better to buy Cloak of Agility over Pickaxe on Yasuo?
On Yas?
Yeah.
It depends if you have BF or not.
Infinity Edge basically does what it used to do, if I'm not mistaken.
Full revert.
But didn't they give it an extra 25% damage on crits?
Yeah, but that's what it did basically. Before.
I thought they gave it another
so
25 on what it used to do.
It increases crit strike damage by 25%,
Right.
which it used to be 50%, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a revert back to its old mechanics with slightly tuned down numbers. It looks like,
And
which is
25%
fine, and a little
crit
more
chance
damage, yeah.
and 80 AD. So pretty good. That is an item again. So thrilling stuff.
And
Essence
taking out some of
Reaver.
the true damage in the game is good in my opinion.
Oh,
because
yeah,
there's
I would
way too
agree.
much fucking true damage.
I mean, they put it on everything. Essence Reaver now grants critical strike chance again. Say again. You fucking
old
cowards.
Essence Reaver, pretty much.
Put the word again in your patch notes. Now grants critical strike chance again. You're fucking pretending that the past never happened. Like, the shit used to give critical strike chance, and then it didn't, and then now it does again, as in it did previously. Fucking
Yeah, they
write
reverted
it into-
Essence Reaver. That's pretty much all that
It's
happened.
basically
Right
a
in
full
the patch.
revert as well. Yep.
Yep, 20% CDR, 25% crit strike chance. Oh, by the way, Tryndamere is back, baby. Like, all of these are Tryndamere buffs, so it's gonna be good shit this patch for Tryndamere mains.
And it removed Essence Flare. That's big.
And Essence Reaver has a fucking sexy build path now. Pickaxe plus Caulfields plus Cloak of Agility plus 425 gold. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. There's a new item, Spear of Shojin. Grants AD health cooldown reduction and basically Essence Flare, now called Awakened Dragon, because Riot loves to rename shit. That's like half of what they do in patches is just renaming stuff. Like, look at any preseason or midseason change, they rename at least one thing. Guaranteed.
That's half their design team's job. They just have a whiteboard
Coming
of
to
like
cool
old
names.
names.
What
and then
about
new names.
what about Crouching Ninja? What about
Guys, we definitely want to use Dragon, but what should we use?
What
as a
adjective?
Describer for Dragon. All right, so everyone just get together your lists. We're gonna spend a solid 3 weeks on this project.
They've got like one of those.
They went with Awakened Dragon, obviously the correct choice.
They got one of those
They nailed
tournament
it.
brackets for like adjectives describing dragon.
The fucking
like-
NCAA bracket.
But with okay, so this round is crouching versus angry. Crouching dragon versus angry dragon. Oh, looks like crouching won, so it moves on to the
obviously.
semifinals.
That was a number one. One
Maybe
versus
like-
16 seed.
Maybe
Angry was
Furious
a 16
dragon. Yeah. I don't know.
Furious, yeah, that was a tough battle in the third round.
And this
But it-
new item, Spear of Shojin, I'm creating a new award just for Spear of Shojin for the most disgusting build order I've ever seen in an item. BF Sword plus Kindle Gem plus Long Sword plus 950 gold. Yikes. That is absolutely appalling to look at. I don't
What
like
about,
looking
like,
at
Storm Razor? That was
It
an
only
ugly
really
build pack,
works if
too.
you're first back. You get 1300 because otherwise, you got to start longsword and
or Kindle
Kindle
Gem.
health
I mean,
crystal.
Kindle Gem already feels bad enough in Black Cleaver. This shit's gonna be even worse because you don't have a Phage to buy, which has components. Like,
Right.
yeah, Phage is similar in price to BF Sword, but there are components. Like, if you back at 400 gold, you're not fucked when you buy Phage. I don't know. But it seems like it could be a good item. It's basically like 60 AD, 250 health, 20% CDR, and then Essence Flare, which is your basic attacks after casting your ultimate. For the next 6 seconds, you get 50% attack speed and 20% basic ability cooldown refund on your basic attack. So it's Essence Flare.
Yeah, so it'll be used a lot on bruisers like Riven, Renekton.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
And there's
they're
no
gonna
weird
get a lot of
mana.
good use out of
There's
it.
no weird mana anymore or like anything.
I
So
don't
it's
think-
a
I don't
better
think you
item.
build this on Lucian anymore either.
That's
No.
possible, yeah.
I mean, no, it would be very situational on Lucian. I wouldn't think you'd get a
I think
whole
it's
lot
way
out of that.
too weird of a fucking.
Yeah,
build
it's a
path.
weird fucking build path for Lucian.
I mean, maybe last. I don't know. But probably not. Updated Stormrazor. Thank God this item like fucked
was
crit
terrible.
really
I mean, it's
badly.
still
So
pretty
terrible.
fucking bad,
And
but-
implement-
It was a brutal build to begin with. It's one of the worst items I think they've ever made because like you had to take it and no one liked it. How is there an item that you have to take and no one likes?
Because it's so not fun to
How do
play.
you even fucking design that?
It's literally the reason ADCs were so bad.
Yeah,
Because you have to get the item, and then it delays your spike until your actual third
right.
item.
And no one actually liked using it. It was amazing.
Well, it's not a fun item to buy. Like,
No,
there's nothing fun about
stupid.
playing with it. Anyways, Stormrazor was. I'm gonna read their little blurb for this one. Stormrazor was created to support marksman playstyles that focus more on kiting around a fight than attacking at full uptime, but ended up becoming the predominant first item in crit builds due to its combination of early impact and crit scaling. We're keeping the idea of occasionally super powerful attacks, but moving it from the crit system into the energized system, so it's not just a bumper on the front of Infinity Edge builds. So now costs 3,100 instead of 2,800. That was another problem, was that it was so cheap to
So
purchase.
cheap. Yeah.
Build path: BF sword, longsword, Kirchi shard, 850 gold. AD down from 60 to 55. Attack speed down from 35 to 25. Now has an energized effect. At 100 stacks, your next basic attack deals 65 bonus magic damage on hit and slow the target by 40%, decaying over 1 second. And new, your other energized effects are 30% more effective and also slow their targets by 40%, decaying over 1 second. So now I guess you can stack everything.
Yeah, and it creates kind of an interesting synergy. You know, like if you're using Stormrazor with Static Shiv and
Because it's always been weird that Static Shiv and the other one, they stack to some extent, right?
They stack off the same charge. It's the same with fleet, so this enhances your fleet footwork proc too.
This is one I don't feel comfortable making any assumptions on how it's going
It's
to
at
like
least-
impact the game.
it's at least more interesting than the old Stormrazor.
And
I'm not going to say it's better or worse, but it's by far a better design in my opinion.
And it
think
hopefully won't be a rush item anymore. I doubt
Right.
it will be.
I think it'll be good on champions that have like that build RFC, because it enhances your RFC range
Yeah.
too.
I agree. But yeah, that build, I mean, this is another appalling build order. BF sword, longsword, Kirchi shard, and 850 gold. Like, you're essentially buying a BF sword and that's it until you like complete the item. Those other items are just useless. Like, yikes. So it's probably going to be a late game item just because the
But the-
build path is so appalling.
The Kirchi shard is cheaper now, at least.
Oh, is it? That's
Yeah,
now
it went
six.
from
I guess
800
it's
to
600
600.
instead of 800, so I guess that's not awful, but it's still not good.
No, it's not great.
And then this is the fuckery of this patch, because it wouldn't be a League of Legends patch without some fuckery. So now we've got Phantom Dancer. Now grants a shield at low health, but no longer decreases damage from the last champion you hit. Spectral Waltz now triggers on attack rather than proximity to an enemy champion. So let me just, before I go into this, let me just preface, the Phantom Dancer is fucking stupid, because they're like champions like Graves going Red Smite, Tab Eyes, Phantom Dancer was just absolutely awful for the game state. Like, there was so much damage reduction that you could build cheaply. Like, for like 5,000 or 6,000 gold, you could get like 30% damage reduction on a full damage build, and it was awful. It was really bad. I don't know why when they nerfed Red Smite, they didn't just take away the damage reduction that you get and then pump that into actual damage dealt. But instead they're like, but now you can't see the champion that you smite. It's like, okay, that doesn't matter. Anyways, existing, and now it's basically going to be Steric's Gauge for fucking ranged champions, which was literally removed from the game because it was unbalanceable. So I'm sure this will be fine. Total cost is down because Zeal is cheaper. Existing defensive options for Crit Marksman, parentheses Mob, Malmortius, Guardian Angel, Mercurial Scimitar, set users far enough behind on core damage builds that they can't contribute carry level damage in fights even though they're living longer. We're making Phantom Dancer a defensive option that fits more smoothly into crit builds. Don't say what you're doing, say that's what you're hoping to do, because when every single champion in the game is buying this shit, I don't want to hear that it was a defensive option that fits more smoothly into crit builds. Douchebags. The new build path is Dagger, Brawler's Gloves, plus Zeal, plus 700 gold. So that's worse. I think
it feels really bad building.
Yeah, I feel like Brawler's Glove is much worse than Dagger in terms of like raw stats. Even if it's technically like a better item because it's more expensive and it gives better stats in a vacuum, it doesn't actually get better stats because attack speed is almost always going to be better in that situation, but
especially because this is probably your first Zeal item for most.
It also has 30% attack speed instead of 45. Crit strike chance is down from 30 to 25, which, okay, let me just say, if nothing else is taken away from this patch, thank you for fucking changing the crit chance on stuff to be 25% instead of 30%. Such a disgusting number for so long. So unnecessary for it to be 30% instead of 25. If we can just change everything to 25% crit, I'll be happy. That's literally all I need. And then Lifeline. If you would take damage that would reduce your health below 30%, gain a shield that absorbs up to 240 to 600. Scaling starts at level 9, ends at level 18, damage for 2 seconds. So that's going to be, I mean, I guess...
So it's not based off of anything else, it looks like. It looks like it's a flat number. So.
Oh, man, but 600 is so much at max rank. Like... That's kind of a lot.
I think the crit chance is going to pigeonhole it, so it'll be harder to build on some of the
sure, like
could abuse this,
right?
Like a Urgot or something, because they made it so Sterix can't works with melee only, so Urgot and Graves and them can't take it. So.
Well, I think Graves can absolutely take it. I don't think Urgot can.
Yeah, Graves will take this. He's just got to build some crit with it to make it.
Possibly.
Graves already takes Sterix.
Well,
and
he wanted to, but he couldn't anymore.
Yeah, he used to for sure. It was awesome.
He already takes PD.
Right.
Yes.
One, it's cheaper. It lowers his attack speed a little bit, but
I think it'll still be a super. I mean, Graves is gonna. I'm surprised there's not. Did Graves get nerfed in last patch, or are they just not fucking with him?
No, he hasn't been touched in a little while.
I thought he was like pretty good right now. But I haven't played that much. So.
Jungle XP nerfs hurt him a little bit.
Oh, that's true. They did fuck with that a lot, and it was really bad.
Just play Ivern in every game and you win.
And then they changed the move through units part to be, instead of getting increased movement speed and moving through units when you're near a champion, it's when you attack a champion. So you have to actually be hitting them. Yeah. And then random stuff, random number changes. Kerchi Shard, like I said, 800 down to 600 gold, which it was already an awful item, so at least it's now an awful item that's cheaper to buy. Zeal, 1300 to 1200, that needed to happen. There's no fucking chance in hell that Zeal is as valuable as a BF sword. Like,
it was so weird when they bumped it up.
Yeah, it was an odd choice. Rapid fire, total cost, down to 2600. Why the fuck... Total cost down to 2,600, crit chance down to 25%. Like, why is this happening now? We're like 10 years into this game's existence, and they don't know how to, like, take a number that's never going to be rounded properly and just bump it down and then bump down the item cost. Like, this needed to happen when they reworked crit in general. Like, animals. Runan's Hurricane, 2,800 down to 2,600. Critical Strike Chance, 30 down to 25. Static Shiv. Shiv needs a little extra buff to bring it up to the level of the other Zeal upgrades. Cost down to 26. Attack speed up to 40. Crit Chance down to 25. So they gave it an extra 5% attack speed and gave it the same treatment as everything else.
I think that makes sense.
I agree. I mean, that's fine. It's not gonna do anything, but I mean, it's fine.
Right.
Last Whisper cost increased, AD and armor pen increased. Did I say cost decreased? I meant cost increased if I did. Making Last Whisper more effective as a component item while building into Lord Dominic's regards or Mortal Reminder. So AD is up from 10 to 20, cost is up from 13 to 1450, and armor pen is 20% total armor penetration. So this needed to happen because Last Whisper was just an awful item. And like
it was a terrible item, and I think they also put it in there because you lost the true damage on IE now.
Yeah, I mean,
so they still want you to be able to pop a tank some.
Yeah, and then
hopefully this helps with tabbies.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, there's still like, I mean, it helps a little bit to have PD removed, but there's just too much like, I mean, not PD removed, PD damage reduction removed, because that was really bad for the game. But like this whole like damage reduction thing is like not great on these duelist champions. Like if they would just knock down Red Smite and then make Tab Eyes actually do something interesting, especially now that they're removing a bunch of sources of true damage, because they're gonna rework Conqueror to do some new shit, and they're also gonna there's something else, I forgot what I was gonna say, but I don't know. I don't like just flat damage reduction. Like it's not interactive to play around, you know? Like
you gotta
that's what you buy resistances and health for. Yeah. Like that's the point of buying defensive stats, is that you get damage reduction from it.
Defensive stats fall off the more you buy them. Damage resistance doesn't.
Exactly. Well, damage. I mean, the thing is that like all the sources of, or not all the sources, but a lot of the sources of damage reduction are in places that it doesn't need to be. Like the jungle item. Why did the AD jungle item? I know it's on all of them, but like this damage oriented jungle item, why does it give like damage reduction? That's such an odd thing to be paired with it.
It's challenging
smite.
You gotta challenge, and then you gotta like cripple the other guys so you like have a better chance at winning.
And then the other one,
like challenging shout.
Exactly. And then the other one was a crit item. Again, another damage oriented item with just random
that was an item
damage reduction.
I feel like that item wasn't built on many.
Well, it was supposed to be a duelist item, but it was just stupid. Like it just didn't make sense on like most champions.
Graves built it, Vayne built it, Yas built it.
Exactly, and I mean,
that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it's kind of like, well, static and RFC are better on it.
Well, exactly, and I mean, and there's no reason for it to be so weird and like niche for no reason, you know. And then the other one's a pair of boots, which again, damage reduction on boots. Why? I don't understand.
But they keep nerfing it over and over again, and it still always grades out as the best boots. And then they're like, okay, we're going to nerf it one more time. Oh, it's still the best boots? Oh, fuck. Well, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We'll just nerf it again.
Ryan,
we'll take away one move speed.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so odd. And then Mortal Reminder and Lord Doms both have 5 extra AD when they're completed. So now it'll be nice to have like an armor pen intermediate item, because Lord Dominic's and Mortal Reminder are such awful items to get early game. Like,
oh yeah, they're terrible.
But they're also like their components weren't functional either. So it wasn't like you could like sitting on Last Whisper was like hard griefing if you were like actually trying to win, because 10 AD, 10% armor penetration. Fucking yikes. That is abysmal in terms of
like 1300, right?
For 1300 for as much as a BF sword. Like there was literally I haven't run the numbers, but there's literally no way that would ever edge out a BF sword in terms of value. Like there's no fucking chance. Like you'd have to get what 30 AD worth of damage out of the 10% armor pen. Like there's no fucking chance that's going to edge out BF in any situation. So maybe now it will against like super armor stacking teams. But, I mean, we'll see. And then they're changing build suggestions.
Here comes the big one.
It's going to be some dumb shit. It always is dumb shit with their...
The next one is going to just make the whole Lola community rejoice.
Which one? I don't know what you're looking
at. Not really. Half the community likes bounties. Are you fucking
I'm just kidding anyway. It almost does nothing. But they do make a small change to... bounties. When you're behind and you start farming really well, you're not going to get a bounty on your head.
Wow.
Because you farm really well after being behind, which did happen quite often.
I can farm now without being punished? Are you
exactly.
super serious?
It doesn't fix farm leads. It fixes farm leads within like rapid succession. So like say you die and then you like TP back to lane and you collect this like massive minion wave, you can end up with a bounty on your head despite being like down a kill, like not even in CS, because you accumulated so much gold through CS in the last like however many minutes, it gives you a bounty.
Here's the thing. It hasn't been 6 months to a year since this system was introduced, so we can't expect anything meaningful to change about it until at least 6 months has passed. Once they figure out that it doesn't work, it'll be fine. And
it's got to be as toxic for the game as a Kali. So otherwise, 6 months is not their normal timeline. Normally, it's like a year and a half before they'll revisit a mistake.
Remember, fucking 5.0
Kali? Really bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if they nerf gold bounties before they nerf Urgot.
Oh yeah, he did get through this patch.
They just completely fucking missed that again.
How the fuck did he make it through this patch?
They need to take every champion that was broken and fucking pick ban at the end of Worlds and just fucking gut them. I'm tired of playing the same meta. We had it for 2.5 months in preseason.
I mean,
it really hasn't changed much. It really hasn't. This will change it. The crit changes, you'll see. I've heard Kai'Sa's really not feeling great right now, right? Because her build path isn't as good, which I'm completely fine with, right? Because Caitlyn and Jinx and all these other poor whores have been left in the dust. So I'm fine swapping them around and doing some changes. I think that the crit changes will make a significant change to that. But I agree. Like, I don't know how these pick bans from Worlds, friggin' 5 months ago, don't find their way into patch notes. I mean, I think he got like a small nerf like 2 patches ago, and now he's still pick ban in all LCK, LPL, doesn't matter. Like, he's flexed into every lane, like it doesn't matter where he goes because he can survive. It's
#brutal. Revert Urgot. Yeah, that's right. I fucking said it. Bring back the old Urgot kit. That's what the people want.
But apparently, alright, so like
everyone wants this
with his ridiculous R.
Yeah, can we actually? Okay, real quick. This is like totally. Unless Astros, you can say what you wanted to say, and then I'll say my thing.
I just want to say, I think nerfing Urgot is a lot more important than nerfing Camille's E hook shot on minions.
Probably.
Like, honestly, like playing against a Camille jungle who just ganks is annoying. And I don't think this is gonna stop the Camille from just ganking you over and over.
The thing that's fucked up about Urgot is that like I don't find his kit to be inherently broken at all whatsoever. It's literally just his numbers that are stupid, and that's such an easy fix to make. Like,
he
why?
deals 2 million damage and takes -2. Like, he heals himself every time you hit him. It's fucking stupid.
Like, I don't understand.
You nerf a shield a little bit. And you increase like mana cost on Q back to where it was before they decreased it when he was feeling bad, 9 months ago. And then all of a sudden he can't survive in lane constantly without ever having to go back.
I mean, I understand.
Which is where it's at right now.
Yeah, I understand how Riot gets stuck in their. I mean, they're stupid, but I understand how they get stuck in their own head on stuff like Akali and Irelia. These super mobile, high skill cap assassin type champions with like tons of different damage sources, healing. Like, I get how they get like, I get how they're bad at balancing shit like that. Like, that at least makes sense.
Right, it's complicated.
It's complicated. Urgot is not a complicated kit. Like, there's nothing hard about balancing Urgot. Like, I don't.
You just drool on yourself and you win the game.
You say this number go down, this number go down, this number compensate go up. Fix champion. Perfect. You did it. Good job.
Right. I don't think there's anything wrong with this kit. I think that you just need to adjust the numbers. Just look at any pro game ever, and you'll see him picked or banned, and be like, maybe we're seeing too much Urgot. He's going mid lane. Oh, now he's going top. Oh, now he's back to mid. Whatever. You can put him anywhere the fuck you want. He's gonna survive in the lane. Yeah. And then all the announcers are the same. They're all like, well, here's Urgot again.
Ladies and gentlemen, Urgot.
Yeah. This won't be a very dynamic lane, and he'll do just fine mid game and late game. So here he is.
So does he even have any like real bad matchups?
His old bad. I knew his old bad matchups because I played a lot of Urgot before he got broken. I don't like playing champions once they become popular. I think that's a little boring. So I usually dump a champion just as soon as they hit meta and they're super strong. But I played a lot of Urgot at the end of not last season, but the season before that, and I'd say like Fiora was a pretty solid play into him because you just get abused after 6. You just couldn't do anything. Fiora was pretty solid, and then before they increased his or decreased his leg cooldown time, you could play a tank into him because the legs were the only thing that really hurt. Everything else was like plinking, and before you could build Thornmail, and every time he'd hit W, he'd kill himself. So.
Oh, I know that's like a thing. Someone played like Rammus top, and I saw the clip of it where he backing out first item Bramble, and he like Urgot's full HP. He pops his corruption pot, taunts him, presses W, and Urgot one shots himself.
Yeah. It used to be really funny. They fixed that interaction so that
that was recent. I saw the clip recent, unless the clip was old.
Yeah, but but you could face off against them before. It at least made sense. There were some. I agree. Right now, I can't think. I mean, the best thing you play into them is Scion, and then you just also farm and become unkillable late game. So you have two unkillable.
Scion gets nerfed, but the only thing that like counters the other broken champion is nerfed.
Right. So Scion's really the only. And a lot of the pros will play Akali into Urgot because Akali can do a lot. Well, used to be able to do a lot more late game than Urgot could, and she could survive in lane with her Q. But now that she doesn't exist as a champion,
well, she goes like fleet,
that doesn't work.
Overheal, bloodline, all that shit now. She's literally just ruined.
Those were literally
people are going
the only
fleet
two
even last
counters I've
patch.
seen.
That's like even gonna be even more thing. Okay, but anyways, Urgot, you're gonna get yours one of these days, presumably.
I give it till the end of the season.
Sometime between now and patch 920, you'll get nerfed.
Riot said they liked the way Worlds went, so they're just gonna leave him in there until next Worlds.
Fuck
and then
yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
they'll take him out.
But enough of this lamenting. Let's do some different lamenting, because I was just thinking when I was like saying #revert Urgot. Obviously, nobody wants that. Yeah, he's overtuned right now, but his old kit was genuinely an abomination. So I want to pose the question to you guys: if you could revert 2 to 3 champions, which ones would they be and why? And you can either revert them because you fucking hate the new kit, or because you really liked the old kit, or just for whatever reason you want. And I can go first because I have ideas, unless somebody else wants to go first.
No, fire off.
Okay, so number 1, because I used to love this fucking champion, Katarina. I fucking hate the new Katarina like kit. I don't like how it plays. Like before, it felt like you would jump in and use your reflexes to like try to outplay people and make really fast plays. Now it just feels more like you're playing like a predictionary game. Like you have to plan out your combo in your head before you do it, rather than just like relying on your reflexes, and I don't like that.
Yeah, no one likes to think.
I mean, I like thinking on some champions, but that was not like to me, Katarina's identity changed. Like to me, she
went from face roll to like unplayable.
Well, I mean, she was face roll, but like after they like, I don't think you guys. Well, you probably do remember, but after they had nerfed her like health regen and her base, like every one of her base stats, she genuinely had one of the worst lane phases in the game.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like even though she was a face roll champion in some scenarios, she still had like nobody would argue that she had a super high skill cap unless they're stupid, which a large section of the people that play this game are.
We're talking about League here. It makes you a dumber human being.
She absolutely had a high skill cap, and her skill floor was raised significantly because of how bad her laning phase was. So I thought that like, and they had also done stuff like gotten rid of her veracity resets unless you had hit the champion in the last 3 seconds. Like they changed so much about her kit to make her like very high risk, very high reward type of champion, that I thought that like she was in a decent spot and could have just used some more nudging, but then they just scrapped the entire kit, which made me very sad because that was one of my favorite champions.
I forget. She didn't. The only way she got E resets was off of kills or assists back then, right?
Correct.
Right.
I feel like that's one of like the good changes is that now you get like E resets off of your other abilities.
I mean, to me that was like her thing is like you gotta kill who you like. Have you guys ever heard the quotes?
You're not coming out, right?
There's a quote called "If you're gonna kill the king, you better kill the king." You guys ever heard that before? That was Katarina in a nutshell. Like if you go in to kill someone, you better kill him. And now it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's okay if you kill him, but I mean, if you don't kill him, that's okay too, you know? Just do whatever you want, Katarina. Just do what makes you feel happy. And it's
she doesn't do
come
as
on.
much damage as she used to.
Well, sure. I mean, she doesn't do as much like instantaneous explosive burst damage, but I think her overall damage is absolutely comparable. Like, especially without resets. Like, if you're not getting resets, her damage now is absolutely higher than it used to be. Because really, you would just press QEW and then press R and then close your eyes and hope to God that you killed someone. But
well, you press R and then like in like 2 seconds, if you're still alive, you just press the other abilities because they're probably back off cooldown.
Exactly. But yeah, anyway, so Katarina, that's one I don't like and it's just like a personal thing. I don't like the direction they went with her rework, and I miss that
like
champion.
the rework as a person who has 100% win rate on her this season.
Oh, PogChamp. The other one I would revert is maybe Akali, just because the new kit, I liked the old kit. I felt like for a champion with a lot of point and clicks, there's actually a surprising amount of depth to it. But
I think you could have reworked her like smaller.
Yes.
You didn't have to go that big. You could have
agreed.
worked with her kit and done something to it without doing this abomination of no one wants to play against you no matter how bad you are. And I still, until this lovely patch, I banned Akali every single game because I just didn't want to play her.
And there were problems with her old kit, don't get me wrong. I think that her old kit was much more problematic than like even Katarina's. Like, I think that she was definitely one of the champions that should be looked at for a rework. But like, me liking her old kit combined with my absolute disgust with her rework, definitely one of the champions that would be on my list, at least in the top 5. If I gave it more thought, I might come up with some other ones. But then the number one champion that needs to be reworked or reverted from their rework is fucking Old Karma. Do you guys remember that champion at all?
I didn't play that.
I don't even think
I used to play Old
you
Karma.
were just a wee lad. I don't even think you played this game, Astros. You were like 6 years old.
I didn't. We're the same age.
We're not. I'm older.
Well, he's
You're a month older than me, Dad.
I'm
Chill.
older. You just called me your father. There's a generational gap here. You just don't know about Old Karma. Basically, like, this is when League was a DOS game.
Karma, right?
What's up?
They are reworking Karma to try
Again?
and get. Yeah, they are. They've
Fucking
had trouble
revert
getting
her.
enough time for engineers to work on her thing. They're not adding in the old W. You know how you could link it to either, but they're.
Are they bringing back her old
doing-
Q? That would be fucking
They're-
awesome.
They're not reverting, but they're changing.
Oh
around
yeah,
some
I
of her
did. Oh no, I
abilities.
did see those changes. They look appalling.
They're very weird. It's like if you cast a spell on one of
It helps
your
people get
teammates,
cooldown
it
reduction, right?
Lowers their it increases their cooldown percentage or something like that. It's very
But
weird.
you know what champion that makes sense on? It makes sense on Zillion, considering he works with fucking time. We're just gonna make this sorcerer.
we'll just arbitrarily give it to
champion
Karma
cooldown.
instead.
Can we just talk about how boring Karma's kit is for a second? Like, it is genuinely one of the most boring kits in this entire game. And that's
I
with
agree.
the cool mantra. Like, the mantra mechanic is cool. The fact that she's still one of the most bland kits in the game, to me, is just a feat of modern brilliance. That you can even make a champion with that cool of a concept stuffed into its kit still be this boring hunk of press shield. Like, why? The old Karma was so cool. Like,
Yeah, and I used to play old Karma a lot, and I do not play new Karma very
so
often.
I haven't played her in a while, so I might be a little fuzzy. But her old kit was basically, her Q was like a cone that would come out, and if it just would normally do damage in that cone pretty quickly, and then if you empowered it with mantra, it would heal your allies and you in the cone, and it would damage enemies at the same time. And like, I don't know why that's not a thing that's in like more support kits, because it's super cool. Her E was more or less the same from what I can remember, and then her W was I don't remember the specific.
You could attach it to an enemy and root them, or you could attach it to a friend and give them mana.
And if they ran, if anyone ran through the tether while you were tethered, I believe enemies were slowed and allies were sped up.
Yeah.
Which was such a cool, like, there's so many cool ideas in Karma's kit that we haven't seen since then for like some reason, and like they just died when they reworked her for no reason.
They said they really like the W mechanic, but they don't think it fits on her, and I bet we'll see it maybe even with this new support champion.
I mean, even that could be. I could see that being fair, but like, the new Karma to me is just so boring. I can't even. Man. I can't even like
RQ, run around in a circle, hit E.
Yeah, it's
never use W because
I'm tired of fucking every support Karma just using RQ instead of like RE when it's actually useful, because like they just,
RQ, man,
they come out of lane. They come out of lane.
It's the only mantra she has. RQ, that's it.
Yeah, honestly,
you have to hit both back to back.
If you press R, all the other buttons lock, and you can't press them down until you hit Q. Like that's how every fucking Karma player is.
That's a good revert. I didn't even think of that one, but I like that one. Astros, do you have a list?
I'm not kind of sprung this on you, but if you haven't,
I already got a list, man.
Where this wasn't in the plan. What the hell? How am I supposed to? You want me to think on the spot?
No. Okay, I'll give you more time.
No, hold on. No, I got this.
Okay.
Wait, don't you already have your list, Danger?
Yeah.
Let Danger go if he's already got a list. You can think more.
I already have a... All right, fine. Go ahead.
Then don't complain about having to think on the fly.
Fucking...
Were you? You were fucking...
So Kali was on my list, but we've already talked about her. One of the ones that I think was a travesty and they fixed was LeBlanc. I hated the new LeBlanc kit.
I hate really old and new LeBlanc, so... Yeah.
I think old LeBlanc is a lot better than the new LeBlanc ever was. I hated her R. I hated the way that the whole feel of it just felt off.
It looked it looked like it was awful to play, but I never played it.
It was miserable.
The ult was awful. I liked the way the passive worked with wave clear. It also helped me increase my CS per minute.
She was like she's a fucking assassin.
I literally averaged like 4 CS a minute on LeBlanc. Right, I need some help out here.
Here's my number one wish for a revert. It is Quinn. Do you remember old Quinn?
Oh my fucking god.
Quinn and Valor. Oh my god, it was so cool, and I think it would work so well in the current game. But when you would hit R, Valor would come down, and all of a sudden you would be the bird, and you would E, and you'd charge at someone and stay in contact with them, and then you would Q, and you'd do damage in melee.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And it was badass, and it was super fun to play because, like, I played her top before it was played top very often. Like now Quinn is just a top. But
Danger's just a fucking trendsetter. That's what he's trying to say.
And that's what I did.
Danger doesn't ride waves. He fucking makes them.
Call this man Poseidon.
It was badass because, no one would expect the amount of damage. And so you were basically turned yourself from an ADC into an assassin like that. And
to me, yeah.
It was very cool. I had a ton of fun. I had quite a few points on her, and then I played New Quinn like 3 or 4 times. I mean, I've seen people play her well. I just don't like the taxi. I don't think it's interesting. It's not fun for me.
To me, old Quinn was just like buried under weird bugs and like unintuitive gameplay for enemies as well. Like she had weird damage sources that were hard to understand, and it just felt really bad to play against her. I think that the core of her kit was fine, and like it could have just used cleaning up. I
just had fun playing her, and I don't have fun playing the new one, so that's why I would revert her because it was
something different.
Yeah. To me, it was interesting. You turn yourself into an assassin, right? And if you were, you could build some defenses so that as you flew in with the bird, you didn't get popped in a second, because you did a lot of the time, But your blind was melee then, and it would do, area effect around you, so you could blind multiple people. It was a cool kit, and you could hit R again, and then you just pop back. But
and then those are two, or do you have another one?
No, that's mine. That was my big one, was Quinn.
Astros, you've been.
So I also agree. I also agree with the Akali. I just felt like between her Q, I hate the new Q because you have to walk backwards or forwards in order to make your fucking passive work. And I think that's just you take an assassin and you're no longer going in. You're going in, but then you're walking away to go back in to do more damage.
Well, it's just forcing an assassin to move in a specific way.
And you become
weird.
Not super predictable, but in order to get that extra damage and that burst, you need to walk away.
You're not unpredictable, which is supposed to be the whole thing of her kit.
But, and she just felt better back in the day.
Definitely. Like you
I
could
like
double mark
playing-
people with your Q. Like you could Q someone and then wait a few seconds and then ult onto them as your Q comes back off cooldown and double proc your mark. It was super. Like there was stuff you could do on the old Akali.
Yeah, it had like a
completely
lower
brainless.
skill like floor
Definitely.
and a lower skill ceiling, but it just felt better.
Yeah,
You
that's
could
not
have
necessarily
changed
a
your
bad
R.
thing.
You could have changed your R to do exactly what the new R does, and I think that would have worked better on that kit too. Because
Yeah.
then you don't have the infinite resets or like the pop of her R that you
Right.
could do.
And I
Well,
hate
yeah.
the new fucking E so much.
Everyone does.
The
Well,
new
and-
E is
yeah.
so it's pretty pointless. It's
And-
very situational.
And mixing
You can
healing and
fly.
stealth is like such an odd choice as well. Like, why would you want a champion to be focused on healing, stealth, and burst? Like, that's just such a. Like, take either of the other. Like, take 2 out of 3, and then you can make an interesting kit. But you try to put all 3 of them. Like, healing, mobility, stealth, and burst. It's like, what does that even look like in a, like, healthy, functioning kit? Like, it doesn't. It doesn't look like anything because it doesn't happen. Like, that was always a
It
weird.
looks like a ban is what it looks like.
And that was the problem with her. Like, I don't think the problem with her old kit was that it was too simple to execute. I mean, that was a problem, but it wasn't the problem. Like, the problem was this mix of like mobility, stealth, healing, and like and burst.
AD, AP, you know, like you just
Yeah,
had too
like-
much shit going on all at once.
And like that's what I think Riot needs to do with like a lot of these champions is like just so many of the champions that they come out with now have so many sources of damage and so many different things that they're supposed to excel at. It's like remember when Cassiopeia like, or maybe she still does. I think she still does actually. How there's so much healing on her E.
Mm-hmm.
Like why? What about Cassiopeia says healing? Like nothing
And
about
sustain.
her kit and sustain. Like what the? She's a fucking control mage. Like why does she need healing? Like that's the problem with so many of these kits now. Why does Akali have healing on her Q? Like why do these? Or maybe they removed that. I don't know. I can't keep track of all this shit.
They did just remove a copy.
Yeah, they just
healing.
Was that
went
this
over it in
patch?
this patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this patch.
Like,
when they
why-
gutted everything else about her, they decided to
Because
take
her
that away
laning's
too.
trash. That's why
Yeah.
it's in there. It's to help with her sustain and lane. Because it doesn't proc all the time. You have to have a threshold of energy in order to proc your heal.
Yeah, but it's just weird. Like, anyways, you were doing your list and I commandeered it, but it's just.
I mean,
weird.
we were just talking about the champion I talked about.
Yeah.
Like, I also miss like the old Ari where the healing was on your Q and your movement speed, like the movement speed was on your Q to where like if you Q'd you got movement speed instead of having to hit 2 fucking spells to get movement speed or whatever it is now. Cause like part of your Q is like it goes forward and it goes back, and you'll see good Ari players use the return Q with like flashes and ults and stuff to where it like comes back through multiple people. And it's so much easier when you use Q and you get the movement speed rather than having it proc off your other abilities.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad they give the extra damage percentage back to her E, but it's just like, I felt like swapping the healing from her passive, like to her passive from her Q, was like, just swapping them was like dumb, and it didn't.
I mean, maybe you could have done it like you get the healing after you land your E or something. Like, then you're not just randomly sustaining off of minions, because again, minion sustain is like the thing that breaks so many of these champion kits. Or you could do something. I don't even know. I mean, I guess because her lore was like basically she would seduce men and then eat their souls, right? Like that was her thing, her shtick. Or something.
Yeah,
I used to
pretty
know
much.
all the champion lore. Like back in like 2014, I would read like every champion's lore when it came out. When it was just like the one page in the client. Now there's like fucking all these dumbass
Stories and
Like
events.
comics.
3 books. I
There's
mean,
like books and events and
I don't know how to
fucking
read.
pop
That's what
stars.
Ponderous
I
read
don't
all
know
the
what
patch
this
notes.
is.
I just talked about whatever he said. I also don't like. I like the Ezreal rework, but I don't like the fucking character itself. in
Oh
terms
my
of, like,
god,
how
he's
it
so fucking
moves.
annoying now.
He's so clunky to play, and he does way too much fucking damage right now.
He's a beast right now. But I think they were waiting to nerf him to wait to see how the crit changes land. Because you don't want to nerf
Probably.
him right as you do the crit changes, because then you just might be double fucking him.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want Ezreal's like. I don't want to rework Ezreal's like new W. I want him to go back to his old model, so he's not this lengthy fucking weird looking thing that
So you want
feels
to
so
you don't
bad
like
to
his
play.
VU, not his VG.
Yeah, I don't like the visual update. So it's
Yeah.
not really a rework, but it just feels
No, that's
so
fair.
bad to play.
I agree. I think he looks a little bit odd.
On 3, can we all do our best Ezreal impressions?
I don't know any of his quotes.
You don't have to.
You
just
belong
have
in
to
a
talk.
museum.
Yeah, there's one. All right, 1, 2, 3. That was a warning shot. That was a. I got those guys. That was a warning shot. You belong in a museum. That was just. I was just. I was just warning those guys. Indiana Jones. You guys didn't join in. You left me.
No,
hanging.
I think we did it right.
Our voice boxes can't hit that high of an octave.
You belong in a museum.
It fits your persona better. We have
Astros,
beards,
you
don't.
belong in a fucking museum, okay?
That's right, I'm a national treasure, bitch.
You belong
Thank
in
you.
a museum. This is now
this
ASMR. Listen to the sound of my squeaking as I attempt to guide
You
you.
sound really weird, honestly.
Do I right now? Or just in general?
Like right now, you sound weirder than normal.
Weirder than normal?
It's like a weird,
And
like a muffle thing.
what-
I don't know.
In what way do I sound weirder than normal, Astros?
You're just muffled, bro.
I'll show you fucking muffled, Astros. Does this sound better? Okay,
I like how your mic auto cuts you out because it
Yeah,
doesn't want
it's
to
a-
hear
My
you're
mic
you.
is
not doing
a
this right.
fucking whore. That's why. Yeah, I think we've gone on long enough, right?
I think,
shit.
I think
An hour.
the people
I
are
looked at-
super happy with this.
I looked at the patch notes when we were done, and we were like 36 minutes, and I was like, oh, that's a perfect length. And then we went for another 20 minutes talking about whatever the fuck I just dragged us into.
Hey, how's everyone liking ranked this season?
Anyways, that's a good place to stop the episode. Astros hit platinum. He's just trying to get us to talk about that.
Well, Danger hit platinum today too.
Oh,
I
we
did
both had it.
indeed. Plat 4. And onward and so forth.
excellent.
How's Silver, Ponderous?
I'm not in silver.
The account I see you stream on is.
Oh yeah, I mean silver is silver. Like, what are you actually asking me, Astros? What information are you trying to?
You
glean?
didn't listen to the last podcast, Danger. It's obvious.
Huh?
I might have flamed you last podcast.
Oh, you
that's all.
flamed me last podcast for what?
I think I flamed Papa too. Then I'm higher ranked than you.
Oh yeah, well that'll last for a long time.
Well, you don't have the game, so you can't beat me
That's
right
true.
now.
I don't have the game downloaded right now. I was trying to get things done in my life.
He saw the Trin's buff, and he's
But now he
coming
saw the
back,
Trin
though.
buff, and he's going to be coming crawling back.
Trindamere abuser.
Hey, the nice thing
Tempt
is
me
you
not.
can do it with us.
Tempt me not, Mark Merrill. You temptress. You fox. You devil.
Mark Merrill, Evelyn.
Yes. I mean, I wish.
damn.
What? Can we have an Evelyn skin that just is Mark Merrill? I think I would.
I think that's what we should end on.
And it
right
has like,
there.
and he does like the voice quotes for it. Wait, we have to do community
Who
announcements.
else would do Mark Merrill's quotes?
community
He's the only-
announcements?
Community announcements.
Trust me, the silence is a lot funnier when you have the visual as well. That's why we do a podcast, because we like visual comedy. Anyways, community announcements. I don't know the fucking community announcements. Good night, everybody. Woo! All right. Stop recording.